Hi, I'm Chase Green, and I will be doing a showcase of the mechanics in the Lich's Dungeon. The first mechanic we're going to showcase is going to be the spawning of the minions as well as the chest mechanic. So when the player actually goes in, they will have the minion skeleton soldiers spawn, and the player will have to defeat them. This then will also allow the player to loot the chest in the room, as well as chests around the map. Chests have 4 different possibilities of loot. They have gold, health, armor, and attack upgrades, and they could be in any combination of those four, from only gold to all 4 of the bonuses. The player may also receive the health and armor upgrades. When they do, they will heal the stat that is upgraded. Alright, we're going to show the actual spawn rift. So the spawn rift has a set variable to determine the number spawned in each room. It then will spawn determine on how much is set that many enemies within a range of the center of the room. For the other parts it's used, the Lich also uses this, as well as the phylactery. The Lich uses this by having a progressionally leveling up version of the same thing that is determined and sets the actual spawn number, but it has the exact same. The phylactery does this, the spawns based or the exact same, except has an additional mechanic of being able to spawn determining on the threshold of damage received. We have it set to where will spawn minions at 90, 70, 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10 health. The chest mechanic, which is able to provide the player the loot, is able to be interacted by the player through an attack, which will change the sprite of the chest to open. And when it's open, it then will have a random number determined to reward the loot in any variation. When the player receives this loot, it is then collected in their data and then updated and stored for the data collection, as well as sent and updates the UI if it was health and armor. The health, if it was upgraded the armor, it then allows the armor to be broken if it is healed. The player's health and armor is another mechanic. When the player is attacked, it is determined if they are dead or if their armor is broken. If the armor could still be broken and it still has life remaining, it will do damage to the actual armor before it will ever do damage to the health. When the player does die, it will respawn, and the respawn mechanic then will trigger a new life. The new life custom event is what is called when the player starts a new game or when he dies, which gives them max health, max armor, and resets the possibility of his armor being broken again. The next major thing that we want to showcase is the actual AoE attacks. Both the Lich and the mini boss have the same attacks, but just on different timers and delays. These attacks are determined by an AoE red sphere that is placed upon the ground. These red spheres are able to damage the mini boss and skeletons and the players when they are spawned. This is also a method that could be used to destroy the mini boss if the player is not strong enough to face him just yet. The AoE, when it spawns, it gets all the overlapping actors of Skeleton's character and main boss to then apply the damage to all of them. This is very similar to how the player's attack happens. When the player's attacks, which is determined on an event tick, if and only triggers if the player had just pressed the input on the mouse to attack. And when it does, it then will call a function that I created that then will be a hit check, which will check all overacting actors and apply the damage to all of them. This includes the chest, which any bit of damage will open. Thank you for watching my mechanic presentation of the Lich's Dungeon.